Welcome to Immediate Review, and the saddest episode that we're ever going to record. We're joined today by Person A, and we just watched The Last Airbender. So just to preface, I'm going to just say I'm the resident Airbender expert. All right, I've seen all the shows. Dakota, he has never watched the show, doesn't know a whole lot, but he knows a lot about movies. Person A.
I didn't like this movie, Peter.
Person A. She can tell her own experience.
I've seen the entire show, but I haven't rewatched it recently, so I have knowledge, but not all the knowledge.
Okay. So, yeah, I've seen the show multiple times. So, let's just get right into it. And I have a long list here about that just details everything. We're just gonna walk through the film and talk about the comparisons and why it's why I think that this movie just fucking failed like so bad. Okay, so the first part is this is produced, written, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't like this movie, Peter.
That's the worst part. It's like everything in this movie is his fault. Like he put it in there. He told them what to fucking do, and yeah, it's just it's awful. All right. So we start the movie, and the movie's called The Last Airbender. Okay, it's not called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's
so
because
when
Avatar ruined it.
and yeah, it's like we get the copyright, but that falls back to that this was produced by M. Night Shyamalan. Like, he had to front the money and couldn't front enough to get all of the rights for everything that they needed to fucking make this what it needed to be. And, I think that's why the names were weird too. And yeah, so we'll get to that. So we have this, like, elongated opening intro. Right, that kind of like goes into it just adds more words to the bulk of like what is said at the beginning of every single episode, right? And one of the weird things they add is great respect is given to people who are able to bend, and that's not true. It's like, yes, in some situations, like especially in The Legend of Korra, like Aang gives a bunch of prevalence to his son with the ability to airbend and whatnot. But that, like, the first introduction that we get is like Katara is bad at waterbending, and she gets Sokka wet. And Sokka's basically like prejudiced against her. Is basically just like calling her waterbending like
your magic
like
water
like
shit.
Spooky magic and shit, and like straight up like being prejudiced against waterbenders. And he's just like because she's the only one in here, and so he's allowed to she's a minority. It's like so whatever. It's apparently okay if there's only one of them. And yeah, the introduction to Aang in this scene is like, she's like slowly learning to bend. And they actually do an okay job at least showing that with the CGI, because the water kind of falls from the orb and whatnot. But just the bad CGI just really is highlighted in this, and this was shot by the same guy who shot Lord of the Rings. And it's like the CG in that looks good still, and so
except for the Batson.
Yeah. So I just don't feel like there's much of an excuse besides the fact that this was produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and he didn't have enough money to get an actual production company who knew what the fuck to do.
Also, he's Shyamalan.
Yeah, and so when we finally see Aang, it's like. He's like there's a monster under the ice, and he like they start like chipping away at it, like Sokka chips away at it. The whole reason that this happens in the show is because he's being prejudiced to Katara, and Katara's like, yo, since our mother died, I've been the one to fucking take care of us, and don't talk shit on my bending and all of this stuff. And in her anger is flailing her arms about, and that causes Aang to shift out of the ice that he's in and come up to the surface, and then they break
and
that.
They're in a boat during that. They're not just walking around like idiots on the fucking ice.
Yeah.
They're in a little canoe.
It's like...
And like they end up stranded because Sokka doesn't listen to her, and she's like, I told you to go left, they're like fucked.
Yeah, exactly. And the only reason that they end up surviving is because they find Aang. And so Aang gets released, and it shoots this huge fucking thing into the sky, and then it cuts over to Zuko and Iroh, and we get a little bit of like their back and forth and whatnot beforehand, and then when the beam goes up, and it's like, you know, all of this is building into the character development that we get in season 2 and 3 of the show. And it's like they were, if they were preparing for more movies, they were not doing it correctly. Like, I don't care about Zuko at the end of the movie, but at the end of season 1, there was a good amount of sympathy for him at this point. Like, it's like we get it. Like, he's been through some shit and he's fucking upset and lost. But it's like this, he's just like an idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, they decide to take Aang back to the village, and we see Aang's tattoos. Okay, Aang's tattoos are frustrating for me. It's like, yeah, they're symbols, and it's like more natural of like what a tattoo would be, but come on. It's like his tattoos are like teal or blue, or you know, and
yeah,
arrows,
they're big
like, going
and
across.
Obvious blue, like,
and they
they're
come
simple.
out from the back, like they don't just have like little things that stop there, and then he has some tattoos on his arms.
They're
it's like
everywhere.
they flow through. It's like it's about the flow of chakra, like through his body, and airbenders get that when they become masters, and and yeah, that's another thing that's like that's super important with this is Zuko is supposed to be 16 years old in this, and Aang is 12. The whole like presence of the introduction to Zuko and why it's important is because Zuko is not a master at firebending. Like, he's 16 and Iroh is still just grilling him on the basics to nail everything down. And Aang mastered airbending 4 years prior. You know what I mean? Like, technically 104 years prior, but 4 years in training prior to that. And so he's incredibly skilled, and he's able to read people. Like, he's a master. And he knows that Zuko is not a formidable opponent. And they play off of that on how Zuko is persistent, but he's not much of like a real threat. It's more of his influence that is a threat. And the Fire Nation as a whole tracking Aang down, and Aang's notoriety that is a threat, not necessarily Zuko. Like, the real threat doesn't really come until Azula comes along in the show. Like, she fucking chases them down hardcore. Like, there's an episode where they go like days without sleeping because Azula's just on them.
And what I will say about this is, I mean, obviously this wasn't gonna get a fucking sequel, but they cast Summer Bishel as her, and that would have been so good because she's such a fucking badass. And I don't know if you watched The Magicians. In The Magicians, she plays Margot, and she is a fucking like.
So she would have done good as Azula?
She would have been fucking amazing as Azula.
See, that sucks, because it's like, it
would have been so much better. They should have just skipped to book 2.
and yeah, so again, no, when we're introduced to Appa, we are not introduced to Appa. We're not told that he can fly. Like, Aang doesn't brag about how he's like a flying bison.
Sokka doesn't get fucking snot all over him either.
No, it's
None
like
of that
this
happens.
whole like amazing character introduction of like, do you want to go penguin sledding with me? And like all this stuff doesn't happen.
It's so playful, and they're all weirded out because he literally just got de-thawed, and he's like, "Hi, like let's be friends." And Katara's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and in this, Aang's first words are exposition. I
didn't like this movie.
It's straight up like he's just like, oh yeah, and like the grandma gives exposition.
Who they don't call Gran.
Yeah, well, no, they don't call her Gran, but yeah, she comes up and she's like, oh, I think he's this and this, those tattoos and all this stuff, and it's like,
let me tell you about the spirit world.
They already knew that Aang was an airbender because when they first met him, he sneezed and he flies like 30 feet in the air, and it's like, yeah, who does that?
And Sokka tries to take his staff away, thinking it's a weapon, and then he's like, no, let me fun.
And so the next big thing when you know, like we did talk about how this was shot on location and whatnot, so they weren't able to create an actual like ice, you know, like castle and whatnot, though I argue Peter Jackson probably could have. But yeah, when the Fire Nation first arrives at the village, they're, you know, menacing and they're going around, and in the show, Aang comes out and he confronts them. He's like, yo, leave these poor people alone. Like, if you're after me, take me. And here, Aang hides until he's found and dragged out. And then he's like, you're being mean to these people.
Stop it!
And there's no playful banter between Zuko and, you know, like, you know, you're just a kid. It's like, well, you're just a teenager. You know, they don't have this, like, dynamic of they could have been friends, you know? And it's like, Aang pushing to be a friend in this movie doesn't make any fucking sense because Zuko's a dick and they have no connection. And, yeah, the next fucking big fucking change that Shyamalan did, I have no fucking idea why. He's insinuating that fire isn't created. That fire is you have to have fire near you in order to bend it. Because all the other benders have that. And then they like have the twist at the end where Iroh's bend. And they even say, it's like, he's bending with nothing. And it's like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, it was like, why did they make that change? You know, and
unnecessary.
And yeah, the whole grandma conversation is fucking so stupid. Like, where she's like, I believe that he may be the Avatar, and I'm gonna deliver a bunch of exposition about the spirit world instead of just showing and explaining it to you that way, or having Roku explain it like they do in the fucking show. It's so stupid. Like, oh my god. So they take Aang away. And then we have one of the stupidest fucking parts of that. I'm going to say that a lot. All right, there's a lot of one of the stupidest. But this is another one of the stupidest.
It's all the stupidest.
Where they test if he's the Avatar. And they set a candle in front of him and the flame gets higher. Not how firebending works. And then they set the water near him and it pools up. Not how waterbending works. Fucking, and they set the earth in front of him and the earth rises up. Not how fucking earthbending works. And it's like, why didn't they put any air in front of him? Here's a glass of air. And it's like, you know, like, I don't fucking, like, it's seriously, Shyamalan is so fucking stupid. This is just like, it's an atrocity to the, like, I don't think he even got to the point where he fucking, like, saw where Aang actually earthbends in the series, because it's not till the second book. And yeah, the fucking they give Aang's disappearing story like 3 different times in this movie. Like, they give it as a little exposition dump before they get to the Southern Air Temple. Katara's just like, he explained that he ran away. And it's just like, why? Like, Aang is ashamed of that. Like, he's ashamed that he ran away, and he, you know, he's just trying to find his people again. And you know, they don't have Monkey Atso's tent where he has the reveal. He's just like, you know, oh, and like when he goes into the Avatar state, it's fucking so stupid. They send him to the spirit world while he's in the Avatar state instead of showing the magnitude of the Avatar's power. Like, literally, he causes a fucking typhoon in the series, and in this, it's like, oh, there's a little bit of wind around him, and he kind of like does a T-pose and whatnot. But like in the show, he like puts these arrows together, and all of his tattoos are glowing, and it's like, it's a big fucking deal. Like, the amount of power this fucking kid has is huge, and yeah, that's not how this works in this. So the behavior that fire has in this movie is really weird too. It's very like fluttery and playful. Like when Zuko is in the meeting room, or not in the meeting room, but they're having dinner with Zhao and all of the soldiers for some reason, which never fucking happens. It's always isolated. But yeah, he's like standing there, and Zhao's like talking shit about him, and he starts like breathing heavy, which is one of the things that fuels firebending. And the breathing like makes the fire like rise up off of the candle and like spin around and shit, instead of in the show where it just like flares in magnitude with their breath, which is how they explain that's how it works. It's like, I don't know why he didn't watch the show before he decided to make this movie.
Maybe he watched like 2 episodes.
Yeah, he watched a couple for sure. Like, there's definitely a couple episodes that are framed, yeah, and in the scene too, he goes up to Zhao and like fucking runs his fucking mouth, and it's like he had his fucking Agni Kai with his, like, they even talk about it, about how he, like, later, how he fucking was scalded on his face for, like, having a loose tongue, like, for talking when he wasn't fucking supposed to, and he does the same fucking thing to Zhao. It's like, in the show, he maintains his honor, and Zhao loses his, and that's what's compelling. It puts you on Zuko's side, where it's like, fuck yeah, this kid who's been, like, literally been abused and tortured by his fucking family, like, it fucking stands up to somebody who's obviously much higher rank and a dick, and he beats him using the fucking foundations, man. It's like, it's awesome, and this movie did not do that.
No.
Okay? So we get to the earthbending prison, and Aang, and I know Person A is going to have some stuff to say about this scene, but yeah, we get to this earthbending scene, and they're all, like, so in the show they're on the ocean on a metal, like, oil rig, and
which
that's,
makes sense.
Yeah, and so there's no earth around them for them to bend. Here, they're in like a rock quarry with earth all around them, and literally when like Aang goes up and gives his speech for everyone to rise up, they all just kind of stand up and are like, oh yeah, we can do that. Instead of them having to problem solve and use the coal that they're burning in the furnaces and bend that against the firebenders, there's innovation that comes with that, and this is all just kind of, Aang just stands up. And Aang in the show, he's not even the one to rise up, it's Katara. Katara's the one who's heard stories about the earthbending, like, nation, how strong of a people they are, and she rises up and gets them to believe in themselves, and Aang and Sokka are just kind of there, like, hell yeah, Katara, we'll help you out, like, cool, like, yeah, let's do it. And they even, in the show, they come up with a plot that makes Katara look like an earthbender so she can be in prison and figure out where they're being sent to. It's like, it's awesome. And in this, there's none of that. They just kind of rise up, and
they're literally surrounded by earth.
Yeah, and this is the next big fucking problem with this movie, is bending in general is not powerful, like, at all. And they're trying.
It takes 6 people to push a small, like, we can't even call it a boulder, a large rock.
Yeah, it's like literally, and the rock, like, it's small. It's like the size of the rock in Parasite. You know what I mean? Like, about that size. And it takes, like, 9 people all doing synchronous movements. 2 of those dudes could have taken it
and pushed it.
Yeah,
or, picked it up and thrown it.
One person
strong
could have.
Dude
like,
picked it up and
the stuff that Toph is able to do on her own is fucking incredible. And while she is the greatest earthbender alive, it's like that there's a level of that should be able to be recreated by other benders. And it just goes to show that Shyamalan doesn't understand and he's trying to, like, probably for budget and probably so that when they do actually go full on with the effects that they had, it, feels, good and whatnot, or at least it's like, oh yeah, that felt like way more powerful. But it's like the whole point is like the show is able to highlight that level of strength in these kids so fucking well. And this just, like, takes a step back so that when they finally do blow their load, it's like we're like somewhat impressed with it. And it's like this, they're able to take it, and make all the bending awesome, and then when they need to blow their load in fucking Act 3 and they're fucking doing it, the art style goes another fucking step further, and the sound design goes way fucking further, and it's just, they step it up in the best ways, and they have 3 seasons to build that up. And in this, they don't, and they make everybody seem way weaker. There is so many fights in this where they don't even fucking bend. Like the battle at the very end with Aang and Zuko, they fight for something like 2 minutes,
without
and
any
not
bending.
One of them bends.
It takes Katara coming in.
Yeah. And it is ridiculous. Like the whole show is about how precise and controlled bending is. Aang's able to make a fucking whirlwind in his hand just by spinning air around, and the bending matches the motions that the people are doing, and that is not prevalent at all in this film. They'll do fucking crazy ass movements. Like the Earthbenders, they're like stomping and going, and then they like "Brr," and then a rock just gently floats across the screen.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
And it's like, to throw a rock in the anime, it's stomp fist, and this rock comes up with the stomp, and as you punch, it punches that rock into a motherfucker.
It makes sense.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's fierce, you know, and this is not, it's not good, okay? Tommy could have done better, okay? So, really cool thing that happens in the anime is the waterbending scroll part, and it is fucking ruined in this movie. They kind of just, after the Earthbenders
here's
are
a
free.
little library of books.
It's like,
We happen to have this scroll. Here you go. And then it's like Aang sucks at it, which is
Right.
not how it is in the show at all.
Yeah.
In the show, he's super fucking good and learns really fast. And Katara at first is like, oh, I get to teach you something and be better than you at something for once. And then he surpasses her, and then he's like learning from the scroll without her, and she's super fucking jealous, and she steals the scroll, and that doesn't fucking happen. Instead, it's like, oh, he can't figure out waterbending.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm slightly better than him.
And it's
they
and
don't
literally
spend much time with it at all.
they have narration that says that, where it's just like, for some reason, Aang struggled with water, and it's like,
What?
literally,
No!
he looks at the forms, and it's straight up, there's a line where it's just like, it's easy. It's all about just flowing through the stances, and he just does the water whip, like, immediately, and Katara gets mad.
Yeah,
like,
she's fucking pissed.
She's like, I've been practicing waterbending my whole fucking life, and he's
and
like,
you
well,
just do it?
well,
You
and
just fucking do it, you little shit? Fuck you.
Yeah, because Aang is years younger than Katara as well. I believe Katara is around 16 as well. And so Aang is like, he's already an airbending master. He mastered it. He straight up is the best at airbending that he can be. You know what I mean? And it's like, all of that, it needs to be taken into account. And that is not in this film. It's like, they treat him like he's a fucking scared little kid. And it's like, yes, he is, but he's also the Avatar. And book 1 is all about him accepting that role of being the Avatar. And at the end of this, when they showed Aang, he should not have been like when he's doing his bow back to the people, he should have been confident in like the fact that, yes, I am the Avatar now. And it's
There should have been some Aragorn. Jesus. Aragorn, you bow to no one, confident king, bow to the people shit. Like...
Yeah, and this just, it's just, it's difficult to watch, for sure. So, next big fucking thing is Zhao, his plan that he went to the library and is going to kill the moon and the ocean spirit, it is straight up told to the audience, like, multiple times. It's like, oh, don't forget, we're going to do this. Like, don't forget. Like,
it's coming.
You remember the pizzas are coming. And,
they'll be here.
And... yeah, so they have the flashback of the Agni key, and we get a little bit of an explanation of that, but it's delivered to us super poorly, and it's not given to us in the same context that it is.
Because Shyamalan doesn't understand the importance.
Yeah,
no,
and the reason why it's so good is because Zuko, he straight up talks shit to one of his soldiers and is like, fuck you, and like leaves, and they're just like, I don't know how you can deal with your nephew, you know, like what the fuck's wrong with him? And Iroh straight up tells them the story of how he got that scar and why he is the way he is, why his honor means so much. And it's like, in this, it's just like, you know, we get a little bit of it. You know, he explains that he was talking about his friends and whatnot, and then he spoke out of turn, and then, you know, it's all there. Like it's delivered to us, but it's not given to us in the same way. And I think a lot of it, I think a lot of it, the
impact is really lessened.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that Iroh is the one that's narrating it, because in the anime, his voice actor is amazing.
So much better than the actor who plays Iroh in
Iroh in this movie is just really just shit on. Like, his character just gets fucked. Like, he doesn't have any good lines. He barely has like any
one
profound...
good tea drinking scene, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's a total
it's pathetic.
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? It's
Iroh
like
has, and he's not funny.
Yeah.
Iroh in the show is funny.
He is, and he's a good person. And in this one, he is a good person.
He's a big part of the reason why Zuko, like, is able to, like, go on the journey that he is.
Iroh's his guide through his entire redemption arc. And it's like, if Iroh wasn't there believing in him, I don't think it would have worked, honestly. If Iroh hadn't been, like, accepting in the end, it wouldn't have worked. Mm-hmm. And, we're getting into basically the last two, like, major scenes of the movie, which is one that makes me really upset and another one that makes me really upset. But the first one is completely butchered by the movie. So Aang, he just kind of
Ong. I think you mean Ong.
he goes to the air. He wants to go to the air temple, and they're just like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna go to the air temple. So he just abandons Katara and Sokka, and he flies to the air temple, meets a guy, and they actually have a scene that's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of cool when they get to the statue room. Like, the statue room was supposed to happen in the second episode of the anime, but it happens here, and we have the room, and it's like, it's not nearly as big, it's not nearly as cool, but they have the statues, and they all have, like, their nation's marking, and so I give them props for that. The statues, like, were actually there. It wasn't CG. They did it. They put it there. But then he gets betrayed, and the Fire Nation just captures him, and that's how he ends up back at the main castle.
It's like and they like mashed like a big chunk of episodes together,
all
and then
together.
Like took out everything. They took out all of the actual like Northern Air Temple stuff and any of the cool like technology. Like that's the other thing too, is like this like eliminates all the parts of the first season that shows you like people that don't bend or can't bend a certain element using technology to take advantage of similar things, which is what happens at the Northern Air Temple, because he gets all excited because he thinks there are airbenders there, and it's
and let's think about it like this. Like, if we're gonna build to a third movie, all right, what happens in the third movie? Day of Black Sun, all right, super fucking important for the entire franchise, and everybody comes back. Like, the swamp people come back. The people at the Northern
established,
like
so
all of the groups that we meet come back
I don't
and
even
fight.
think they go through like the canyon area or anything at all.
No, they don't.
They don't even touch on the canyon stuff or.
And that's the worst episode in the whole entire show. But either way,
but still, like they don't do it because it requires them to use some like hardcore earthbending in that episode.
It's true, but also the lesson at the end of that episode is that lying is okay sometimes.
Well, I feel like M. Night Shyamalan is down with that.
Oh, he totally is, but he won't say that straight up to the audience. No way. No. He's So the way that this scene is presented in the anime is the Katara and Sokka are sick. And they have to go and find this special medicine, and he gets hunted down by these badass fucking archers that are working with Zhao. And they take him in, and fucking Zuko does have to come in as the Blue Spirit, and they take the Aang, and he's like about to escape, and then the arrow shot happens. That happens in this movie, but they don't earn it. They don't establish that these archers are fucking badass and can hit a fucking fly's wing from 100 yards away and still keep the fly alive. It's like, it's badass shit, and they build it up, and these fucking archers are just so agile and like badass, and they fucking got like the fucking eagle eye makeup and shit on, and it's just like, it's awesome. And it's not in the movie at all. And
that's not the only cool thing from that episode either. Like, okay, so Momo is totally underutilized.
Oh, they don't even acknowledge that he's fucking there. He just flies around a couple of scenes.
And in that episode where this stuff happens, there's that whole hilarious thing where like they need water, and Katara's trying to get Momo to go get the water.
Know, right?
Momo
Great.
It's the whole fucking Groot scene from Guardians 2. Yeah. It's fucking, if you've seen The Good Place when Janet keeps bringing cactuses, it's that. It's like Momo brings back like a dead animal, then there's bringing back jewelry, brings back a fucking crown. Like, he's bringing back a bunch of shit that's not water, because he's like, I have no idea what you're saying, Katara, but you keep giving me this thing and telling me to go, so.
Yep. It's just like, water. and she's like, I got it, and like
go
and
was like,
a fucking
and
wrong
it totally
thing.
is just like, yeah, he could have like established that
Momo is a character. He has his own theme song. He has his own character personality.
Adorable
and
hilarious.
He's one of the main reasons we even know that Appa was in Ba Sing Se when it happens. He's the one that fucking tracks him down. Like it's badass. But yeah,
he may not know
very
how to get water,
Momo.
but he is a
and
fucking
Appa
smart little shit, and he's
so yeah, they decide to leave, and they have like the cool scene where Aang's talking about his past in the Fire Nation. They don't do it in this movie. They just have Zuko wake up, and Aang just is like, oh, he's waking up. I gotta and he just goes away. It's so dumb.
He's waking up.
And yeah, all of Aang's experiences in the spirit world are all dwindled down into, I think, what is Shyamalan. I think Shyamalan saw the forest spirit episode. I think it's episode 4 in the anime. And
something like that.
Basically, there's like a wood spirit that's like capturing people, taking them to the spirit world.
And
he goes to the spirit world and he sees a dragon, and it turns out to be Roku's dragon. And Shyamalan seemed to think this is like that dragon is way more important than.
He's like, got it.
He's like, oh yeah, spirit dragon.
Other episodes
definitely
about the spirit world.
Yeah, definitely gonna put this in. That's gonna be his spiritual guide.
Fuck
and it's like
Roku as his guide.
Yeah, it's like Roku was an amazing guide, and I guarantee Shyamalan would have put a fucking terrible actor for him anyway. So whatever.
Hey, at least he pronounces his name right. At least he's not Raku.
Yeah, it could be Raku, but it's Roku, and it's good. They get a few right. Zhao is right. Ba Sing Se they get right. There's a couple others. But
Did they manage to somehow get Katara right?
I don't even remember them saying her name, honestly. I could be wrong, but I probably just wasn't paying attention. She's a fucking crybaby in this. Like, if you guys have seen season 3 of the show,
whiny the whole time.
Seriously, the parody that they do at Ember Island in Act 3, that's who Katara is in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she is just a fucking whiny crybaby who cannot fucking bend well.
None of her like badassery or character growth throughout.
Yeah, none of it happens.
Reflected in this at all.
There's
and
no.
She's just like the whole time, and we won't even talk about the fact that the rest of their tribe is clearly Inuit, just like in the show, and then it's just like Sokka and Katara and Gran are all white for some reason because they speak and have extra camera time. Or excuse me, Sokka. Is that what they call it?
Yes, Sokka. So yeah, we finally get to the water tribe, and
Penis Head.
Yeah, we get Penis Head. She definitely looks
her
like.
Her first introduction shot is just the back of her hair.
Yeah,
she's a giant dick.
She's got a nice cock. So we get little bits of introduction, and most of this is the scene that he really wanted to like build up. So there's a lot of time that is spent here at the Northern Water Tribe. They're kind of doing a little bits of like preparing for war and stuff, but it's definitely not to the extent of like actually showing a lot of the like detailed training, the conflict Katara had with like the fact that women weren't allowed to become combat benders, they had to become healers, is not introduced in this at all. It's all just kind of like just thrust onto us, and Aang he learns how to waterbend, and then it's just like, okay, great, like he's a master now.
Yeah,
hooray.
he's a boom.
And it's like the most he does with water is like shake some water in a barrel so Zuko turns around, or like it's so disappointing that this is what they were deciding to build into, and they have all of the little pieces that tie in to all of the bigger story arcs, like Zuko showing up and Iroh like helping him essentially get a like stowaway on a ship so that he could sneak in on a small boat and get inside the water tribe and try to get the avatar from there. And the plan basically works, but he doesn't do the same things that he does. He takes Aang to like an apartment or something,
or like another building in the palace where somebody could easily find him.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't they obviously couldn't take him to the other areas, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that happens in that last confrontation when Zhao is going to kill the moon spirit that it does not happen because none of it is set up. Like Aang and the crew are not there. Iroh, he shows up and they have oh my god, the stupid he's spending fire from his hands. He's spending fire from nothing. And
prior to that, his emotions are so flat. He's like, no. Zhao,
yeah, in the anime, he's so fierce in this moment. That. He's like, if whatever you do to that moon spirit, I will do to you tenfold. Put it down. And it's like, yeah, he's like, oh, don't do it.
Yeah, his anger builds up to him, like, being like, ah!
Yeah, and then
versus he's like, no. Ah!
Yeah, then he kicks all of Zhao's fucking peasants' little asses, and Zhao runs like a little bitch. Mm-hmm. And Aang proceeds to join with the fucking ocean spirit and become a giant, like, fucking towering, like, sea creature that just has control of the oceans and can just waterbend like nobody has ever fucking seen. Like he sends those ships fucking flying like miles into the ocean. And it's sad too, because it's like this is the ocean spirit like lamenting for the loss of someone that it has swam with since the fucking dawn of the earth, basically. Like they gave up their immortality in the spirit world to live side by side with humans. And they have swam there next to each other as their only companions for fucking... since they decided to do that, like, millennia. And it's like, in this, Zhao doesn't even firebend at it. And they don't do the cool color grading thing. They kind of do make it go red, but it's like... it goes
fishy.
Yeah, it's like it goes red when he's in the bag, and then it goes black and white when he finally takes it out. And it's like that doesn't happen in this, and it all just builds up. Like the whole like when Zhao gets drowned by fucking waterbenders and whatnot.
Four random waterbenders.
When Aang finally gets released from the ocean spirit, and it's like they've been defeated. That ocean spirit goes back, finds Zhao, and drags him to the fucking depths. Like he dies in the fucking with the ocean spirit. That ocean spirit is like vengeance, straight up. Water comes up onto the bridge he's on, grabs him, takes him down to the depths while he's screaming and fucking crying for mercy.
Vengeance.
And Zuko is like right there and could have saved him, but doesn't because it's like fuck Zhao. But
fuck you. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I'm gonna. Oh no.
Yeah, and it's just if they were trying to build up to something, it's like this was not the movie that did it. They focused way too much on stuff that they should not have focused on. There wasn't enough like fluidity and power in the bending. Aang's actor he was not like genuine or playful.
Bored.
He's very stiff and like
he seems bored.
Just like not really aware. So the guy from Aang, he's not even a monk. He's just some stupid kid from Texas.
He's a fucking all right.
It's just like he just you can just tell he didn't care enough about nobody did, honestly. Nobody in this really understood what they were doing. They didn't understand the nature of things. They didn't understand that all of the bending was based on their own individual martial arts style.
Which they like they copied the fucking part of the fucking intro from the show the very beginning, which explains that visually
and is decent. And like the bending in it is decent.
That's decent, and then then they don't do that for the rest of it.
Yeah, and it's such a wasted opportunity because it's like if somebody who actually cared put their heart and soul into a live action thing, it would be super cool.
Mm-hmm. Somebody who actually watched the show.
And it's like you can tell that so many people care about this. When it came back on Netflix, it was #1 for weeks. But when the show, like just recently, when the show came back onto Netflix, it was #1. Like everybody loved it. Memes were fucking coming out left and right. Everybody was talking about it because the show is so good. And it's like this is what Shyamalan decided to deliver us. And it's if somebody would have cared just a little bit more than what we got, we could have had just a masterpiece. You know what I mean?
My question to you is, has Shyamalan ever really...
Shyamalan shouldn't have been involved in this at all.
No.
It should not have been him.
No!
I have no idea why he was the one that did it. Like, I think he was just like, oh yeah, I want I want to do. I don't know how he sounds, but he's
Italian. He's Mario. It's me.
But yeah, it's just like, why is he the one that this had to get pushed through with? Like, did he just independently be like, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna do The Last Airbender, and that's why it got made, and he produced it because nobody would fucking give him money to do this shit? It's like, so many more people could have done this, and yeah, it's like and honestly, it makes me feel like it's so bad that no one will ever attempt it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
However, Golden Compass was pretty fucking awful, and what did? They decided to go the TV show route.
Well, that's what they're doing with Avatar too, right? I've heard rumors of a live action series. I've heard rumors for a long time, but I don't have any concrete information, so I might be wrong about that.
Find out, internet. Find out.
But I know that Netflix has the rights to the show, so they could very easily do that.
At least do a miniseries, like an extended. What is Silent Bob over here?
Yeah, he's Kevin Smith. Okay, yeah. So I do need to mention this. When Zuko fucking goes in, when he leaves the boat, and he's wearing his custom white clothes, straight from the anime. Like, awesome, cool, I like it.
And it makes sense because he wants to be able to blend in and shit.
Yep, and blend in with the
camouflage.
snow. And so he gets there, and when he gets to the when he confronts Katara, he's wearing his black garb.
Now my clothes are black.
Yep. So yeah, it is confirmed. There is a live action show coming to Netflix. So I knew that's what they were doing, but I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff from behind the scenes. So
it could barely try, and it would be better than this.
But yeah, literally, have you guys seen Kung Pao when Betty's just like, your clothes are black? That's what happens in this. In this, his clothes are white, and then when he appears to fight, his clothes are black.
Your clothes are black.
And it's it's amazing. And yeah, towards the end, they're trying to have us build sympathy for Zuko with the final fight and having the waterbenders come and all of that. But it's you're doing it way too late. It's we get flashbacks and all of this stuff, flashbacks at the weirdest times. It's because he was
oh wait, this might be important for the sequel. Oh wait, maybe we need to have this in there. I'm not sure. Somebody told me. Maybe this is important. Yeah, and it's at the water tribe. There are no flashbacks in the anime, and yet he flashes back to the monks and whatnot, and has it's all of that should have happened when he actually had those fucking flashbacks, and it's the movie's just completely disjointed and yeah, especially with Zuko. If this is the starting foundation to us beginning the greatest redemption story I believe has ever been told in anime, is this a bad way to do it? This is a bad way to present Zuko, to try to make me sympathize with him to the point where he's going to join our crew and teach our Avatar firebending. I do not see that as something that is going to happen. But Peter, his daddy was mean to him and burned him. Therefore, that's all we need to feel bad for him, and he gets redemption just because that.
No.
That's what this movie says. This movie says if you're an asshole and your parents abuse
you're right. Yeah,
your parents abusing you is enough of an excuse, and you don't need any more redemption beyond that.
Yeah, it's it doesn't care about that story, and I guarantee it's because Shyamalan didn't watch it. He was well, I only need to know this story. I don't need to know how it ends because I'm only telling this part. And then once I get to the second part, I'll tell that part, and I get to the third part, we'll get to that part. But there are pieces that are laid that build the foundation for what Act 3 is. And Act 3 would not be as good if it didn't do what a trilogy was supposed to, which is arc back to the first part and build off of the second. And it does that perfectly with an amazing ending, a perfect ending. Seriously, this is one of those animes that you get to the end of it, and sometimes the ending sucks. I personally think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of those where like I just want like a little bit more to the story, because it's just like the story continues on, so much time continues on, but you don't get to be there with those characters. And in this, the story ends. It reaches the perfect like logical ending to the story in a way that completely makes sense and ties in with our main character. And if you aren't going to experience what our character does at the end and what is so important to hark back to, you aren't going to understand what to focus on in that first part. And it's so prevalent in this, and it's upsetting, and it's like, it's why this movie is like one of the worst fucking movies ever made. Like, it is seriously so bad. And it makes me sad, and I'm never going to watch it again, but I did it for y'all. And yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch Avatar again just to experience the magic, because it's so good. And Legend of Korra is coming. Legend of Korra is coming on Netflix. You guys got to check it out. It's not as good.
But at least they didn't, butcher the shit out of it.
No, they didn't.
Adaptation.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what they would do. But not good.
I mean, yeah. If the movies of Legend of Korra had been made, if we had that many movies by Shyamalan, I mean.
Oh. Hey, but then at least we wouldn't have glass. Shots fired!
I mean, we shouldn't have glass, but yeah, we do. We got glass, and we got The Last Airbender, and we've seen them both. Reviewed them both. Here we are. So, yeah, have you guys seen this movie? I know you haven't. But
if you love it...
I didn't like this movie.
If you love it, why? Please,
yeah.
Please tell us in the
honestly,
comments why the fuck you like this
I would
movie.
love to hear justification of why people think this is good in comparison. Like, if you know
and
the
not
anime...
so bad it's good. Not so bad it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you think it's legitimately good.
Because it's not so bad it's good. I hated watching
so bad
it.
it's
like,
bad.
It's just bad. It's like, I like, there were moments of it where I just noticed, like, myself just floating into, like, other conversation. It's just like, yeah. It's bad.
No, I kept floating back to my phone because I was like...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think
Person
A really looked at the screen too much
I'm
during
like,
his...
yeah, they're doing this, and I'm having traumatic flashbacks. The first time I saw this movie. Just, no.
Yeah.
Not having it.
Was I paying the closest attention to this shit?
Yeah, you were.
Well, you also... Here's the thing, though. You also have never watched the show.
I was paying pretty close attention, but I was like, every time I would pay attention, it would like make me mad, and I'd have to have you pause it so I could rant about why it was bad, and then I'd come back into it. So yes and no, but for the most part, it's like I have so much respect for the original series, and that's what this movie does not have. It does not have respect for the original series.
It can't even get the names right, and if you don't even have something that basic, how can you expect them to like respect the rest of the story or the characters?
And yeah, it's just like, I remember being like so hopeful when I saw this in theaters, and just like that open narration just come in and just like it just it was bad. It was not.
And with the one character that we didn't touch on, that, I mean, rewatching it, I knew it was coming, but I was really pissed the first time I saw this about what they did to Sokka. Because his character in the show is just so fun and funny, and he's always kind of vaguely pissed off.
Yeah,
and like,
has a great arc, too.
And his whole arc of, like having to learn patience and all of that.
And stepping into his own without being
battery's almost dead.
Yeah, it like... None of that's set up here. He's a bland fucking fall in love with penis head cardboard cutout. That's it. He's not the Sokka.
Alright guys. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Battery's about to die. So anyways, thanks for joining us on this shitty walk through history. And it's a 10-year anniversary.